Explosive Ledgermain has its own place and its sanctuary for the most part. And because of the nature of that ability to create explosions out of health and ammo drops, it's widely accepted that Necros is the best buffer for that ability. Because his Desecrate creates so many orbs, Mirage can really overwhelm enemies with tons of small explosions. But it's quite possible to do it all by yourself. Citrine donated her first ability to Helminth, and it forces enemies to drop some orbs. With diminished strength, it's not as much as Necros does, but you are doing it all solo, so can't really complain. We could possibly pull off more orbs than Necros, but we'd need a very high ability strength. As with regular explosive Ledgermain build, there is a considerable period to ramp up the damage in each zone, and this build is no stranger to that. In some large zones, I noticed a huge dip in efficiency, but it comes back up real quick in the second half of each zone, because then it's always ramped up so much that it wipes everything on spawn. To proceed, I'll need to show the build for some context. I'm pushing very high range with overextended stretch and auger reach. As much strength as possible, some duration, equilibrium, and obviously explosive Ledgermain. Aura is corrosive projection, which combined with heat proc from mines and corrosive proc from Archon continuity shreds most of the armor. This is important in zones filled with near enemies because their armor can be too much for this ability, especially after like zone 6, and if you're unlucky to get a large zone, where spawns are really spread out. Archon Stretch gives some energy back, but this is very much an ability spam kind of nuke build, where we use Citrine's ability to prime enemies, Mirage 4 to wipe them, and then we set up mines with her second ability. That's why I have Equilibrium in. You can put in Energize if you like it, but I find this to be way more consistent. I'm a sucker for Mobilize in that Exila slot, and I can't play without it, but this it would probably be better to use Prime Surefooted to avoid knocking yourself over. Though self-stun should be gone from the game soon, as they're bringing back the self-damage, so... Ditching Eclipse was a must for this. It doesn't buff ability damage, so it does not matter all that much. I felt like keeping Mirrors in to offer some survivability while damage ramps up. It also helps to spread damage of your explosive weapon, so there's a use to it. Playing around with this for the last couple of days, I really didn't have any issues apart from some large zones being too large, but that's an issue for every NUKEFRAME. For Companion, it's Panzer, with viral quills and synth mods. There's an argument that with synth mods you pick up too many health orbs that you could otherwise turn into mines, but I prefer consistent energy over struggling for it. Combining Arcane Energize and Nerve Gain and small gains from Archon Stretch might be enough to replace it, but I chose this. Especially because when you have Equilibrium in and it happens that you're down bad, then looking for a first Eximus enemy and blasting it to pieces will always net you a lot of energy. I added 2 shards to expand energy capacity. There's also 2 shards that add some duration, but that's for a different build. Either way, that has almost no effect on this build, so you can easily do without that extra duration. It's nice to be fully self-sufficient, and this build definitely has that. And all it takes to clear Sanctuary, another area defense missions. Only downside is that damage ramp-up period, which means you will get less focus as compared to Sarin, for example, but you win some, you lose some. With Explosive Ledgermain adding so many its own status effects, and Citrine's Shattered Blast forcing impact and slash, using something like Ignis Wrath with galvanized mods would probably be meta, but don't forget the bright colors, that's a must with Mirage. But this works, and this will clear SO like no tomorrow, even most of the defense and interception tiles it's got nothing to hold against this. This is definitely not the most scalable nuke, and it drops off like crazy as enemy levels go higher, but it's still useful on most regular nodes. Let me know how it works out for you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.